We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, and 1410 KERI. Our in-studio guest, 32nd Assembly District candidate, Pedro Rios. Pedro, a maddening day a little bit, huh?
Yes, Marty.
It's funny how your juices get riled up talking about things like that, Ed. I mean, it's really, really frustrating. I had a conversation the other night with a good friend of both of ours, Shannon Grove, and Shannon's backing this initiative to try to get a part-time legislature, and she's getting a lot of slack from a lot of different sources, including the Republican Party, because there's a lot of people that don't want to have their jobs cut. They don't want the situation to change. They want the status quo. So once you're elected, not if you're elected, once you're elected, because you're by far the better candidate, we feel, once you're elected, how are you going to fit into that mix in Sacramento? Are you going to be able to fight the establishment?
I have very strong principles, and I've been advocating since the primaries. I've advocated for a part-time legislature. I firmly believe that it is a solution that needs to take place, and I'm not afraid if I get hammered up there. I'm not afraid that if I'm given the smaller office. I'm not afraid if they take away my parking space. I'm a fighter, and I have core principles which I believe in. And the fact of the matter is that eventually, when everything settles, I have to go back and be with myself, and my maker. And so I am willing to stand up and fight it. And obviously, I also want to be effective, though, with key issues that are important to our state, job creation, the overregulation. And so I plan to be tactful, smart, creative, so that, I'm not completely alienated and I don't become effective. So I hope that I will have the wisdom to navigate myself in those harsh waters, and I believe that I will.
They're very shark-infested waters right now. So.
Yes, indeed they are.
Trice Harvey ended up in the cellar when he was up there one time. So I hope you don't end up in the cellar, and I hope they don't turn your mic off like they do with Shannon. But yeah,
that's right.
That's a lot of fun up there. But I understand that you also made some comments about the DREAM Act. That
yes.
You don't support the DREAM Act.
Here's my take, and what hurts me, they've done a mailer. The Democratic Party did a mailer for Rudy, and basically they're stating that if they vote for me, they will be deported, or that I favor deportation. And it really hurts me because I'm an immigrant. I came to this country when I was 9. I know the struggles that the folks come, not just people from Mexico, but from all over the world, Central America and other countries. I know the risks that are involved, the death that takes place, as many of them do not make it here. It is a great country. And I have never, in my vocabulary, used the word deportation. We know, and people in high offices and people in other places know that there has to be a sustainable and doable immigration reform. And here is the irony. What I don't stand for is crumbs for my people, Marty and Clay. We know that this is a political year, and Obama has launched this for political gain, and that I will not stand for. I believe that there's got to be a long-term, doable immigration reform that will give these kids indeed the opportunity to reach the American dream. But to do it just in pieces and in crumbs for political gain, that is wrong. And that's what I've been advocating for a real, true immigration reform, not just little solutions, Band-Aid type solutions for political gain. But it is wrong. They now, and the fact of the matter is that I don't even have the power to deport. But they're saying that I have that ability, and that I will support those type of initiatives, and that has never been said by me, Marty and Clay. That's another lie.
Boy, I can see you getting a little aggressive here. This is really getting you, isn't it? These lies.
Now, Pedro, let me see if I understand this, okay? According to the dirty lies by the opposition, I want to be sure I understand this, okay? You're for deportation, you sell liquor to minors, You're against veterans, so the next ad coming out sometime in the next week is that you kick your dog and you yell at your mom, right? That's probably the only.
No, there's another one out right now about him increasing taxes.
Oh, that's right. You're for
Voting to
increasing
increase
taxes.
That's correct. Yeah. Now I have that much power now.
Boy, it's amazing.
I'm sure glad I know you.
Hey, Clay, why do we endorse him?
Because he's got all the power. Obviously, he can do all these things.
Obviously, yeah, it's incredible. You know, a couple of weeks ago, and I know this is before your time, we had an old friend of mine, Bruce Hershenson, who ran against Barbara Boxer years ago, and he's a professor over at Pepperdine now, and I really, really respect Bruce. But he had a dirty campaign launched on him 3 days before the election. He couldn't overcome it.
I see.
And it turned the whole election around. He made the comment. I said, you know, is this something that both sides have been doing, you know, over the last couple of years? And Bruce is a very honorable man. He said, no. He said, it's strictly one side. Mm-hmm. He said, one side comes up with dirty politics. He said, very rarely do you see the other side come up with it. So it's unfortunate that it's degraded to this point.
Yes.
But it has, and I'm sorry that you become a victim of this, and hopefully it's one of the reasons we're having you on today is we want to overcome that and let people know that the Pedro Rios they hear about on these ads is not the man running for office.
That's correct.
You're an honorable man, and I feel honored that we've endorsed
Thank you.
So.
And you know we've been focused on issues. We're concerned about job creation. We're concerned about water. We want to bring water to the state, to our valley here. We want to make sure that our schools are performing at top notch, and so we've been very focused on that, and we're going to continue to stay focused. And that is my hope, that when I'm up there, I fight for the issues that are concerned to the people that I seek to represent here in this district.
And I think you're going to do a great job. Our in-studio guest is the 32nd Assembly District candidate, Pedro Rios.
Pedro, since there is a new ad out right now talking about how you said you wouldn't raise taxes, and then taxes were raised for 2 or 3 years in a row, and you endorsed that supposedly. Can you talk about that a little bit?
No, here's what's happening. The cities are at your lowest level of government, and that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where that tire meets that road. Cities right now are expected to balance their budgets. Counties are expected to balance their budgets. And obviously the private sector, companies, you and I are expected to balance our budgets, but yet California continues to spend billions and billions of dollars not balancing their budget, squandering money from left to right. And they want to come back, and what they do is they come in and they raid monies from cities, monies for transportation, monies for various projects. We saw the redevelopment agencies, their monies washed away, and cities have had to go to alternatives. And one of the means and one of the things that Delano, the community, brought forward was a way to bring in revenue so that we can provide parks, so that we can create safety for our community, so that we can invest in our youth. And so it was an initiative that was proposed to the people on a ballot. They would vote on it, and I supported that. I did not want to vote against that in terms of allowing and giving the people their ability in a democratic society to vote. And the people of Delano in 2007 voted themselves to increase a one sales tax in the city of Delano, and that money is going into it's being watched by an independent group. And it's being spent on safety, on police, on youth, parks, and various other projects that needed that extra funding that we don't have because the state does not give it to us.
So this was voted on by the people. It wasn't something that you had all your power and initiated.
Exactly. It was voted by the people. The people themselves made that vote. I did not cast that vote to raise that taxes.
So when you get to Sacramento, how are you going to vote on increasing in taxes?
I made that pledge. I'm going to keep that pledge. The only way that I would vote if we were to have an act of God, a great disaster here, an earthquake, something so devastating that we needed that extra revenue to help the people of California. But the current situation, the overspending, the lack of control, the lack of accountability, agencies that are being created, there is no way that I would vote in favor of increasing taxes.
I appreciate that. We had another legislator from this area that went up there and voted for a tax increase, and I was quite concerned about that. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm not sure what Rudy would do because he's in Perez's pocket as far as I'm concerned.
I've signed that pledge, and I will keep my word to that pledge.
Again, Pedro, it's a pleasure to endorse you. I think you'd make a fantastic assembly person. I think you will make a fantastic assembly person, and
we need him up there.
We do, especially not only because of the supermajority, but there's an atmosphere up there that has to change, and it takes people like you, like Shannon Grove, like Gene Fuller, to change that environment up there in Sacramento. And until that happens, or again, the other alternative is voting yes on Proposition 32. That's a very biggie as far as changing the environment up there. So, Pedro, thank you very much. And
I thank you, Marty and Clay. Thank you so much.
It's Clay and Marty, by the way, just for clarification.
Okay, Clay and Marty. Okay, very good.
And we hope to be able to interview you as the new assembly person in the next few months.
Very good.
Thank you, Pedro.
All right, thank you, everyone.
We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.